welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kyla and I have a very exciting reading vlog for you. As you can see by the title, we are going to be reading some of my most anticipated new fantasy releases. I am definitely getting back into, well, did I ever leave my fantasy era? I do not think so. It's always really been there, but there are phases where I read more thriller versus fantasy. I'm definitely in my fantasy girl era again. I'm so excited and I am just having the best time ever. And there have been some new releases that I am so excited about that I cannot wait to read with you in this vlog. I have two main books that I'm going to be reading for this vlog. The first one is Bookshops and Bonedust by Travis Baldree. I'm so excited about this. I cannot even tell you. I love Legends and Lattes so much. It is one of my favorite books. I'm a cozy fantasy gal. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love some action and adventure too, but I also just sometimes love a good cozy. You know, you want to curl up, be relaxed, some found family, because pretty much all cozy fantasy revolves around found family, and like that's my favorite trope, and I'm just so excited that this is finally out and that we get to read it together. This is actually the prequel to Legends and Lattes, so in this one we are following Viv before she opens up her coffee shop and what have you, so we get a little bit of insight into her life and what kind of like inspired her to go on and create Legends and Lattes, and like I can't. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for a new group of characters. Just so stoked. And then we are also going to be reading After the Forest by Kel Woods in this vlog. This is a Hansel and Gretel inspired story, but with a twist. So this is very dark. We are exploring Hansel and Gretel 20 years after the fact. So 20 years after the gingerbread house, the witch, the oven. I mean, it literally even says on here, a house, a witch, an oven, fiery hot. So we're following them after the fact and kind of what they've been through since and what's going on in their lives now. And this is supposed to be very dark and kind of heavy, and I am here for that. So we have a bit of cozy, and then we also have a bit of a darker fantasy, which I just like. I love this take on it. I think it's such a unique spin. So instead of just doing a retelling, we're kind of bringing the story back to its roots and making it really dark and gritty, and I cannot wait for that. I'm seriously hoping to love this. Could these both be 5 stars? I do not know. It is quite possible, and like that would be absolutely wild. And I am gonna give you my feelings, or my first initial feelings on Iron Flame. I don't plan on going into too much detail because I don't want to spoil anything, and I feel like doing sequels is really difficult in vlogs, so I'm just gonna give you like my first impressions maybe, or just like what my feelings are after the fact if I read it in time to finish up this vlog. I don't know. It's going to be included somehow, maybe not fully fleshed out. I know that's a little bit different, but I do feel like I just want to respect anyone who hasn't read Fourth Wing or also hasn't gotten a chance to read Iron Flame, as it's literally just coming out. So anyways, I'm going to include that just a little bit as well. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into the vlog. is Sunday, and it is finally my day to go see the Eras Tour movie, and I am so excited. I'm like literally out of my pants. I went with a very Taylor outfit. I basically recreated an outfit she wore recently, so I'm quite chuffed with myself and kind of feeling myself right now, I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, I'm going with my friend Katie Ann. We literally, like, every theater around here has been so sold out. It's ridiculous. So this is our first chance getting to go see it. We are not ready. But we are grabbing dinner first. I'm just waiting for her to get here. We'll grab dinner and then submerge ourselves in tea swizzle for 3.5 hours. And I can't say anything else other than I'm so excited because I'm so excited! Hello, friends. It is the morning after. It was too late for me to update you last night. It was freezing when we got out of the movie, and it was just too late. And I, did not have words, and I feel like I still don't. How is one supposed to put into words that movie? It's just a magical experience. It's just magical. I have literally nothing else to say. That's a lie. I had avoided a lot of spoilers for it because I didn't want to be spoiled. I watched the, clips on, TikTok or whatever of the actual Eras Tour, but, as far as the movie goes, I didn't know what was included, what wasn't, that kind of thing. So I do wish that Long Live was in there. I get that it was already, so long. Kind of have to pick and choose what you put in there, but I do wish that Long Live was in there. I do like that they played it at the end though, with the credits, with the French bracelets and that kind of thing. So I do like that. I don't know what my favorite set was. I feel like visually probably Rep, because that snake that happens beforehand and it just looks like it takes up the entire stadium is just the coolest thing ever. So I did enjoy that, but song-wise, I don't know. I love the Evermore set. I love the Folklore set. I loved it all. I just need to see it 5 more times. And our theater was interesting. It was an interesting experience. So we had, we were in a theater with reclining seats, and there were so many people that were just chilling, straight chilling, enjoying it. Our seats unfortunately did not work, which is just very rude. So we couldn't recline even if we wanted to. We got free tickets for that. But I wouldn't have wanted to do that anyways. I'm okay sitting down for it. I was very much of the mind of read the room. If everyone's up and crazy, I will be up and crazy. But I'm not going to be that one that diminishes other people's experiences and ruins other people's experiences from being that loud and crazy. I'm just not about that. So it was a very much read the room situation. So a lot of people were just chilling. We also went to the 7:00 show, which I feel like there weren't as many kids in there, but I will say the kids that were in there, during the Shake It Off and all that, flocked to the front and were dancing in the front, but it was far enough away from everyone that you couldn't hear them at all. So it's not like they were being annoying. I wouldn't have found them annoying anyways, but they weren't ruining anyone's experiences, and it was actually just really cute to watch. So it was a bunch of 8-year-olds just dancing their lives away, and it was just so cute. So I really enjoy that. Like, I feel like they were respectful enough to like do it up front and not like in the aisles or in their seat next to someone who didn't want to do it. So I actually thought it was like the perfect balance between the two. And of course, me and my friend were like dancing and singing like in our seats. We weren't like getting up and, you know, ruining anyone else's experience. So anyways, that was our theater. It is a little, we went later than like opening day or whatever. I think if I had experienced that on like opening day, I probably would have been a little miffed about it. But because this is like so many, it's been out for so many weeks, we were actually like okay with it. And also, you know, we're not quite youngins anymore. So I didn't hate that I did get to sit down. That was, you know, I just don't know how she does it. I don't know how she does it night after night, over and over and over again. I also don't know, like, the dancers, they're freaking good. Like, I know that from watching clips, but like seeing them so up close, the dancers are freaking incredible. Amazing. Anyway, so 10 out of 10 experience. I want to go see it like 5 more times. But I am exhausted today. It's like I went to the concert but didn't. So I just had a doctor's appointment. So just got home. It is about noon and I am gonna get some work done and then I'm gonna start in on After the Forest, which I am like chomping at the bit to start. I cannot wait. This is a Hansel and Gretel, I don't want to say retelling because it actually takes place like after the fact. Hansel and Gretel like 20 years later after they went through the horrific experience that was the house and the witch and a, what's it say in the front? An oven, fiery hot. So this is like 20 years later and you're following Hans. He has a gambling problem and he's in like an astronomical amount of debt, and then Greta, as she's called in here, so it's Hans and Greta has a secret of sorts. But anyways, I'm excited. That just like sounds so fun and interesting, and I'm excited to see like where it goes. That's truly all I know about this story, and like, you know me, that's really all I want to know going into it. As soon as I heard that it was taking place after the fact, I was like, oh my god, that's such like a cool way. Instead of doing a retelling of what happened, it's following them and like seeing what happened like after the trauma. So cool. Such a cool take on it. I'm excited to dive in. Sounds like it's gonna be really dark. So like a dark fairy tale fantasy, and I need that in my life right now. So I'm gonna start this later this afternoon once I get all of my worky bits done. So let's get to work so we can read. Wednesday. I didn't really vlog yesterday. It was honestly a crazy day of filming, editing, and then I was editing for my freelance client. So I literally was just hunched over the computer pretty much all day yesterday, and no one wants to see that. And I only got to read like a little bit more of After the Forest. So right now I am up to page 164. So I want to say that's like I'm almost halfway through. Almost. Like, just shy of being halfway through. And I was gonna update you on the, like, when I got to the first, like, 100 pages. But honestly, it was just a lot of backstory, and I didn't really feel like I had much to say about it because we were still kind of getting into it. I will say it's a slow start. It's not bad. We're just getting a lot of background of where Greta and Hans are now, and like you get little nods of kind of what they went through, obviously in the gingerbread house with the witch and that kind of thing. Greta is being accused of being a witch. Hans has his gambling problem and the debt is coming into play. Greta learns about his debt and is trying to figure out what they're going to do and that kind of thing. And then some interesting things start happening within the forest of where they live. Greta starts seeing some things. Greta is also a baker. That's kind of how she earns money, and she gets her recipes from the book that she stole from the witch's house. And so she makes gingerbread, and when people consume the gingerbread, sometimes things happen. The book actually talks to her, and it's very like eerie in the audiobook, which I really enjoy. I love that aspect of it. And just now we are getting to the point where things are starting to like pick up and happen within this town. We are having some deaths happen of people close to them, trying to figure out this whole debt situation. We're getting a lot of like lore, and I'm just really loving the vibes of it so far. It's very dark, it's very eerie. You can definitely picture everything within this town and like the people and how they operate. And then now we're starting to learn some things about Greta, and also throughout it we're getting little nods of like what trauma they experience. And Greta is like really sharing her experience. Like she blacked out while they were in the house, so she doesn't actually remember what happened, and like that is trauma in itself, you know? Like it really is exploring the theme of like what happens after a traumatic or while you're in a traumatic event, and then the aftermath afterwards of not necessarily remembering exactly what happened. And her and Hans like don't talk about it. Like it's very like we went through this, so we're not going to touch it again, which I feel like a lot of family members, you know, go through and can relate to. So it's very relatable in that sense. And you know, people are asking questions about what they went through and that kind of thing. Even though this is like 20 years after the fact, you know, there's someone in Greta's life who's like asking questions. She's starting to open up, and she's admitting that she like blacked out during it, so she doesn't necessarily remember exactly what happened and what happened to the witch or whatever. All she knows is like the little thing that Hans told her afterwards. So it's just very interesting in that sense. It's very relatable while also being like, obviously it's fantasy, so there's a lot of magic happening and just strange, unexplainable things and that kind of thing. So I feel like it's definitely doing a good job of like weaving those two themes together, and I'm just really enjoying it. At least slower paced. Like it's not like high energy fantasy, but I love that, you know? If you go into it knowing that it's gonna be a little bit slower, I don't know what's gonna happen obviously in the back half. I'm assuming it's probably going to pick up and pick up and pick up because we're really getting into like some nitty-gritty things that are happening within this town. But so far it's been a slow start, but I'm enjoying it. I just love the deeper and dark themes in this. I feel like so often fantasy can really go, at least like cozy fantasy and slow fantasy can definitely go in more of like a lighthearted way, where this, you're taking something like a children's fairy tale, turning it, I mean, a lot of children's fairy tales started out very dark, we know that, but I love that this is exploring that side of it as opposed to go hearted with it. If you've ever seen Tim Burton's version of Hansel and Gretel, it is the creepiest, darkest shit you've ever seen. Like, if you know Tim Burton's style, it is dark and weird and twisted, and he takes Hansel and Gretel and turns it into just something that is almost like, it's seared in my brain, and I really wish it wasn't because it's that creepy. So I feel like this is kind of giving like that vibes in the sense, and I just love it. I'm freaking having a great time. So I am going to read more of that today, obviously, but it's Wednesday. I might go to the library and work this afternoon. I'm not sure. It's also another day of editing for me. I usually have a few days blocked out of like heavy editing because I edit for a freelance client. So, and then Thursday and Friday Friday are like lighter days for me, where I'm like not searing my eyeballs with a screen. So usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are like heavy computer days, and then Thursday or Friday for me are lighter computer days. That's just how it works out and works well for my schedule. So today is going to be another editing day, so you probably won't see me until a bit later. But yeah, I might go to the library. I feel like if I sit here and edit in this room all day, I might go a little crazy. So I'm gonna start editing in here, then I'll eat some lunch, make my decision from there. But I might need a change of scenery a little bit later. I am back in the car because we just got to Barnes & Noble because it is the day that I am picking up Bookshops and Bonedust. I am so excited. I didn't do a pre-order because I just knew that they probably weren't going to sell out of it. And like, I just love the experience of going to the store and picking up the book. I did pre-order Iron Flame. It is coming in the mail sometime within the next couple of days, but I wanted to come and actually physically pick up a copy of Bookshops and Bonedust, and also just like have a peruse around, see if there's anything else I might want to pick up as well. So we're gonna go into Barnes, have a little schmooze around, and yeah, let's go. I do have a bone to pick with Travis Baldree though, because on the original paperback there was not deckled edges, and on this one there is deckled edges, and if there's anything I hate, it's deckled edges. But I'm going to overlook it because I love him so much and I am so excited for this book. So this is the only thing that I walked out with. Well, that and a peppermint mocha. But I didn't get any other books. I was like this close to getting Nightbane because the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition just came out. But I haven't read Lightlark yet. So I thought that might have been jumping the gun a little bit. So I'm going to read Lightlark first, and then if I'm still interested, then get Nightbane. But like, it's just so hard when you're in there and so many tempting things. So they also had so many copies of Iron Flame and the holiday edition of Fourth Wing, like so many. I was actually shocked, but mine's coming in the mail, so I wasn't about to like double purchase. We're not doing that. Anyways, I need to go grocery shopping now. I'm gonna go to Trader Joe's, and then I might check my P.O. box on the way home to see if Iron Flame's there. The tracking has stopped, so USPS tracking sucks. So it has just stopped, so I don't know if it's actually there or not. If it is, we'll get it. If not, I'll check again tomorrow. But I'm so excited. I'm gonna probably start this today. It's raining. It's the perfect day. I'm home. And I have secured the goods. Let's open it up and see what's going on here, because I've seen so many videos, so many, of people's books being messed up, and like, I just want to ask, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, if you're that upset, are you okay? I've seen some people just like saying that this is what happened so other people were aware. That's fine. But I've seen some videos of people like screaming and crying because their editions of Iron Flame were wrong. And like, are you okay? You know there's a war going on, right? It's just my thoughts and opinions. Like, it's a book that's gonna sit on your shelf. Are you okay? Anyways, oh, this is very exciting. Ooh. This is fun. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, well, so far, sprayed edge looks great. And I plan on like facing the sprayed edge out. So I do wish it had a stencil, but you know what? That's fine. Otherwise, it's in good condition. And let's just make sure all the stuff inside is in good condition too. It does say Iron Flame on the spine. That's good. The maps are right. Oh my god. I just want to flip through it and make sure all of the pages are the right side up. I've seen a few videos where people were saying that their pages were upside down. It's really unfortunate. We appear to be good. Ooh. I'm so excited. We are here. This is a chunker of a book. A chunker of a book. How many pages is it? Can you tell I like did not? Mitch, 623. That's not too bad. That's not too bad for fantasy, you know. That's really not too bad. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna read Bookshops and Bonedust first. Because I just really feel like something cozy. It is cold and rainy, and I just really want to read that one first. So I'm going to save this one just for a couple of days. I honestly don't know how much I'm going to include in this vlog. Probably just going to include my feelings. Like, I'm not going to talk about plot or anything like that. I'm just going to let you know, like, my overall feelings on it. So that's kind of it. I'm not going to give you like updates or whatever, because obviously people who haven't read Fourth Wing, like, I don't want anyone to be spoiled, and I also don't want anyone to be spoiled about this one either if they don't plan on getting to it for a little bit. So I want to be respectful and like what I include. So I'll probably, like I said, just include how I'm feeling about it, and like as vaguely as possible. Really, the main event of this vlog is After the Forest and Bookshops and Bonedust. But I did want to, where Bookshops and Bonedust is a prequel, I feel like it's okay to talk about. Where this, I feel like I'm sure some shit's gonna go down, and I don't want to be spoiling anyone. So I'm so excited though. It's pretty. It's beautiful. And yeah. First, we're going to read this. I will give you an update. I'm like nearly done with After the Forest. I have like 30 minutes left in the audiobook. So that's like probably like 20 to 30 pages left. So I'm gonna do that this afternoon and then start this evening. But I'm very happy that I got like a good copy of it. I was worried there for a second, but I would not have thrown a tantrum. Friday now. Thank goodness it's Friday. I just filmed a video, which is why I look all put together. Normally Fridays I look a little disheveled, but I filmed a video today, so put myself together. I actually washed my hair today. It feels fabulous. But I wanted to give you an update because I finished After the Forest yesterday afternoon. I did start in on Bookshops and Bonedust, but I'll give you an update on that later when I go to read. But I wanted to give you an update on this because I'm about to go return it to the library. And I wanted to give you an update before I gave the book back, obviously. But I think I'm landing on a 3 for this one. I really loved the beginning of it, all of the things that I talked about. I love that it explored trauma. I love that it explored more of Hansel and Gretel's story about after the fact, even though in this one they're called Hans and Greta. Still, really just loved the setup of this story and seeing their dynamic now and what they're going through and what their life is like after the fact. I loved all of those things, but this book, I just felt way too long. It felt like there was way too much packed in here. The author was trying to pack in every single dark fairy tale trope that you could ever possibly imagine and squeeze them in here somehow, or have them as a villain somehow, or have the magic in there somehow. There was just so much going on but it also felt so slow at the same time. So it didn't really feel like high stakes, there was an explanation for everything. It just felt like I'm gonna pack in as much as I possibly can, but also kind of draw it out a little bit, which I know sounds like a contradiction, but I don't know, it just felt entirely drawn out. I feel like this should have been, for it to work super effectively, definitely should have pared down the tropes a little bit. But I think it would have really benefited from being the length of Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. That's a dark fairy tale kind of esque story. It's not necessarily a novella, but it's also not a full fleshed out novel either. I think it's right over 200 pages. And I feel like this book would have been perfect sat around there. I feel like she could have picked a few things, really gone somewhere with the story and explored the themes that she wanted to explore, done it in a much more condensed way, and I think I would have enjoyed it more. And maybe that's just my opinion, but I do feel like this book was entirely too long, even though it's under 400 pages. I just felt like it was so drawn out and it felt really long while there were also just way too much happening. That lost me. A lot of it was taking me out of the story and I just didn't end up enjoying it in the end. So I loved the first half, I will say, and then the back half kind of just lost me there. I mean, I liked the ending to a point. I think that just overall was not my favorite. So I'm just gonna land on 3 stars, which is actually so disappointing because I'm obsessed with this cover and I loved the idea of this book so much, but I just don't feel like it was executed the best way for me and my enjoyment. Again, obviously take this with a grain of salt. Everyone has their own opinions, but for me and my enjoyment level, it just was not executed the best way. So, yeah, I'm happy that I got it from the library and didn't end up buying a copy, but I'm also so sad about it because I love this cover so much. It's beautiful. But this is just another thing. It's a cover doesn't always mean that it's gonna be your favorite book, and sometimes cover buys will fail you, and I'm happy I did not cover buy this book, but I'm happy I read it, and I definitely would be interested to check out more from her in the future, because I think the idea and the themes and everything like that were good. It just did not wrap up the way that I wanted it to. So those are my thoughts on that. She's going back to the library, and I will give you an update on Bookshops and Bonedust later. Spoiler, it's going amazing. You gonna come say hello? Oh, she's just gonna be an ornament in the background. Hope you don't mind. Oh! There she comes! Oh! I'm gonna look out the window while I talk. Anyways, hello. I wanted to give you... Oh, now we need attention. Hello. Oh, hello. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Just a tail. Anyways, hello. How are you? It is actually now Monday. I was gonna give you an update on Bookshops and Bonedust, like as soon as I finished it, but it was the weekend and things were happening and I just didn't get around to it. And yesterday I went on You ever have those times where you go and start cleaning like just one thing up? I was in my pantry and I was like, oh, I just need to clean up this like one little thing. It turned into like a complete pantry overhaul where I literally scrubbed every single surface and like emptied out every drawer and like vacuumed inside every drawer or whatever. It was like a 2.5 hour project that was supposed to literally be like 5 minutes. So I went down a rabbit hole, but like I'm not mad about it because now my pantry is like pristine. So anyways, that was my Sunday. So I'm here now to give you an update on Bookshops and Bonedust. And I don't have a lot to say other than I loved it. I loved it. If you are a fan of Legends and Lattes, you will love this. It is a very similar It is a very similar plot line. So this is the prequel to Legends and Lattes. So we get a little bit more of like Viv and where she was before everything happened in Legends Lattes. In this one, she has just recently been injured, so she is sent to this town to kind of rest and recuperate, and while she's there, she comes across a bookstore and its proprietor, and she makes friends and helps them out and that kind of thing. So it is very similar, where in Legends and Lattes, she is setting up like her own shop. In this one, she is helping out at another shop, and I loved the cast of characters in this town. We also have another little romance going on, and I just love it. We really get to see how Viv came to be in Legends of Lattes and like what it really inspired her to create her own little shop. And then we also in the epilogue get a little bit of a nod to Legends of Lattes. So I had a great time. I even got like a little misty during this. I was like, especially the end, it was just so I love found family so much, and obviously she's not meant to like stay in this town for a long time, so she like builds these relationships and, you know, obviously ends up leaving. We know that because of Legends and Lattes. So it was just a very like emotional time. There also is, I would say, a little bit higher of fantasy in here and like what's going on and like the mystery or whatever, because of course like in Legend Lattes there's also a little bit of a mystery going on, where she like helps out in this town and like what's going on. But I would say it's like a step above the stakes that were in Legends and Lattes, but it's still extremely low stakes, and I love one of the characters that comes out of this. Oh my god, it's truly amazing. I just love it. Also, if you are someone that loves books within books and like lots of talks of bookshops, there's lots of that in there, but also there's like chapters from the books that Viv's reading along the way in here, which I just thought was a fun little bonus in there. Like sometimes I feel like it can take you out of the story, but in here I feel like it really worked, and they were also themed around like what was going on. It was just amazing. So I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I had a great time. Like I said, I mean, you have to be the right kind of person and the right kind of audience for books like this where it is so low stakes. But if you are someone that loves found family, you just want something cozy with like a hint of action and a hint of mystery, you will love these. And I am like I'm just so sad it's over, but I think I'm gonna do a reread of Legends and Lattes. This definitely has inspired me. I read it last December, so I feel like a reread this December is only fitting. And I don't know, something about it just like it gives me holiday vibes, even though it has nothing to do with the holidays. I think it's just the coziness of it all and the found family of it all. Anyways, that's besides the point. 5 stars, I had a great time. Hello. We are sitting at the most awkward angle you could ever possibly imagine because it is getting so dark here so quickly, and if I try to film like over underneath that light, it just gets these lines on the camera and it really pisses me off. We live in like a super old house, so the electrical is like not, it's just old, okay? It's just really old, and it like flickers, so it causes the lines on the camera. Anyways, it's so annoying, and like whenever I watch it back editing, I'm like, way. So we're sitting by the window to catch the last little bit of light. I feel like it's doing it a little bit, but it's definitely not as bad if I was to sit over there. Anyways, I wanted to give you my first impressions because I am 100 pages into Iron Flame, and I wanted to give you like my first thoughts and yeah, my first impression. So what I will say right off the bat is that I love that it picks up not too long after the first one. Like there's only a little miniature gap in between the first one and this one. I feel like in fantasy that's really great because that way you're not like losing track of what happened, I'm not sure, or like having this huge time jump and you're like trying to catch up. There's only like a small amount of things that you're like learning about that happened in between. It's like very minuscule, so I do love that. We are also getting, and if you've read the first one, you know the descriptions, the descriptions of Xaden. We're already getting some of those again, and I'm like, Violet, girl, we had that all, like the entire first book. I do not need that in an entire 600-page book. Like, I really don't. I really don't. So I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this one, if I'm being quite honest, because y'all know I'm not here for the romance aspect of things. Like, it's okay that it's there. It gives it some sort of like something else besides all of the action going on, but at the same time, I don't need it to be this like front and center forefront thing, and I feel like with this one I just don't need it. I don't want it. I really don't want it. So I do not know, one, if that's even gonna happen, but that's kind of the impression that I'm getting 100 pages in, is like, because they have to spend some time apart, we're gonna spend a lot of this book either them like in each other's heads or just talking about it, and I don't need any more of them talking about it. I just really don't. And then it's also going to create this like tension, and like I don't need that. I don't need it. I know some people are here for it and like that's what they're here for. That's not me. I am here for the action and for the adventure and for the dragons and all of that. So we do get some of that in the first 100 pages, which I was very happy about. So I'm like happy about that aspect, but I'm like so nervous that this is about to be 600 pages of just straight I just can't do it. So anyways, those are my first impression thoughts, and again, I don't know how much of this I'm going to include, or even if I'll have another update in this vlog. You might just have to stay tuned for my wrap up. We'll have to see. And that is the end of this vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching and coming along this week as I read some new fantasy. We definitely had some wins, some interesting, and some middle of the road. We got a 5-star with Bookshops and Bonedust, which like I honestly am not surprised, but like couldn't be happier about, because you just never know. And like, yes, it was 5 stars for me. Is it everyone's cup of tea? Is it going to be everyone's cup of tea? Not necessarily, but if you are a cozy gal, you love found family, and you just want to sit and relax and enjoy something fun, this is for you. And then we also had a 3-star with After the Woods, which isn't terrible. Like I said, I really enjoyed the first half of this. It's just the ending fell apart for me and I felt like it was trying to do too much. But 3 stars is still pretty good, and if you like dark fairy tales, I definitely suggest checking this out. And yeah, you will have to stay tuned for my November wrap-up to hear the rest of my thoughts and feelings on Iron Flame. I know, a little bit of a cliffhanger, but like, I'm sorry. You know what? We just have to be on theme here, and like, these books leave you on a cliffhanger, and you know what? I'm gonna do the same. So stay tuned for my November wrap-up to hear the rest of my thoughts and feelings. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe if you are not already. Turn on the bell so you never miss a video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
With you and I, the future is